promise to get back to the sermon. Two sisters in a church, and one sister had been faithful. She was there every Sunday. She paid her tithes every Sunday, and she was doing what the Lord commanded her. And she was praying that the Lord sent her a new car because her car was broke down. And the first Sunday of the year, she came back and said, "You know what? The Lord has blessed me with my brand new vehicle." And she testified about how good God was, because she had to pray for some things. She had to understand that she had to go through some things to get that new vehicle. But then there was a sister in the church, and she said, "Oh, I like your car, sister such and such. You know what? I think I'm just going to go buy me one." So when her income tax check came around, she went down to the car dealership and bought her a brand new vehicle. And, it came time for the summer months, and I said, "Sister," the sister that had been praying for it, she had her vehicle, but the other one, she didn't have her vehicle. And I said, "Sister, what's wrong?" "My money ran out." Y'all didn't get that. Her income tax check, her money ran out. But see, you did something that the Lord had provided and made a way for this sister, and you wanted to do the same thing. But can I tell you something? You got to pray for yourself. You got to talk to God for yourself, because let me tell you something. Jesus is the King of Kings, and he'll hear you when you call. He heard Elisha when he called, and he heard the disciples when they were on the water, troubled by the sea. He heard them when they called, but yet we don't call. But it says that he who is the blessed and the only sovereign, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, who alone is immortality, who dwells in the unapproachable light, whom no one who has ever seen or can see, but yet we still believe, because we know that he's a healer.
Right.
We know that he's a deliverer. We know that he is a king that is a king. Amen.
Yeah.
So I tell you this morning, he's the Son of God and he's the King of Kings. But my last point this morning, and I know I'm moving real quick, amen, and I apologize if I am, but my last point is he shall reign forever. He shall reign forever. And I look at this, and it says in Daniel 2:44 that God's kingdom was ruled by the Messiah and is the final rule, never to be replaced. Can I tell you something? He's not temporary. He's not going away. He's going to last forever. And I tell you something, that as long as God is on the throne, I'm going to serve, because I know that one day I'm going to be on the other side with him. John 14 says that he goes to prepare a place for me that I might have room. Amen. And I tell you something, he's already preparing the way for you, but we got to get ourselves in order. We got to get our houses in order. We got to get our children in order. Yeah, the world is changing too much for our young people, but yet we're not changing the church. We want to keep the church like it's 1975 and we in 2016. Let me tell you something, our children come first.
Yeah.
Our children got to come first. I'll tell you something, they changing, we got to change to meet them where they are. You wonder why we got so many young people in jail? It's because we not out there getting them. We wonder why so many people don't come to church? Because we ain't out there getting them. Let me tell you something, we got to change our ways as a church. Yeah, I understand God come first, but let me tell you something, we got to meet them where they are. I told y'all last Sunday, I get sick and tired of the Christians who act like they skirts been down to their ankles all their lives. Because you know that you used to be bad strutting in the club on Saturday night and turned up for Jesus on Sunday. But yet you criticize everything that the young people do, and yet you forget where you come from. Let me tell you something, you can't forget where you come from, because the Lord never forgot. You thought you was good and bad on the weekend, but yet you slept in on church. But now you want to criticize and complain these young people for not coming, but yet you did the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to remember where you come from. I tell you that he reigns forever. He ain't got off that throne. He still saw you when you were younger. He saw all the bad mistakes that you made. Stop criticizing today's youth about the mistakes they making. Stop backbiting. Let me tell you, all that arguing and fussing that y'all doing ain't doing nothing but making us go the wrong direction. Stop criticizing what we're doing. Stop criticizing, because let me tell you something. It's a difference between criticizing and helping. We ought to be the church that helps and nurtures the total man, instead of criticizing and kicking them out the church. We wonder why the Bible and our churches are so few. It's because we ain't doing what the Lord told us to do. Yet when we have problems with our children, we don't call on God. We calling on Dr. Phil. When we got marital problems, we calling on Oprah to fix our problems. When you got financial problems, you going to the bank. When you got health problems, you want to go to the doctor. But yet we forget that Dr. Jesus is a doctor that will fix my health problems. Mr. Jesus is my financial advisor. Sister Jesus can be my sister when I'm lonely. And parent counseling 101 says that he is the one
Yeah.
that can fix all your problems, but yet we don't call him. But it says here that he loves us then at all. The children saying that it was on Calvary, and it was 42 generations ago when our Savior died on Calvary. But see, it was a lot that he had to go through. They whipped him all night long. They whipped him until he couldn't move, and then they made him march up the hill with his own rugged cross. And then when he got up on the cross, they put nails in his hands and nails in his feet, and then they stretched him wide and they hung him high, and then they gave him a crown of thorns on his head. But yet we still don't call him. That's all right. And so then they pierced him in the side, and water and blood came streaming out. And then they said, well, this man is dead. But then they took him down and put him in a tomb. But let me tell you something. The grave couldn't hold him. This whole earth couldn't hold him, because he stayed there all Friday night, stayed there all Saturday night. But it was early Sunday morning. He got up with all power in his hand. He got up with you. He got up with me. It wasn't my alarm clock who woke me up this morning, but it was nobody but the Lord. It wasn't my car that drove me, but it was nobody but the Lord. The old people used to say, I'm glad that he woke me up this morning and I was clothed in my right mind. And I tell you that I understand what they were talking about. I didn't get up this morning and put my shirt on my legs. I didn't put my shoes on my hands. I was clothed in my right mind. I had food to eat. I had somewhere to sleep. But I tell you, we still don't call him. When you was going through it with your ex-husband, you probably didn't call him. When you was going through it with your co-workers, you probably still didn't call him. But I tell you, he's the Son of God, the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings. But yet we still don't call him. But that's all right. It took the disciples who were on the water, and they were sinking deep in sin. They called on the man, and he heard their cry, and he walked on the water and came and saved them. But yet you still don't call him. But that's all right. I tell you that one day you're going to fall down to the feet of Jesus, and he's going to ask why you didn't call when you was going through. We want to turn to Beyonce to give us the brand new profession. We want to turn to Kobe Bryant and make millions on millions. We want to turn to everybody but the Lord that will provide. I tell you something, don't put your trust in TV. Don't put your trust in these fake folks. Don't put your trust in nobody but the Lord, because he will bring you out. I tell you, he's a good God. He was good on yesterday. He was good on today. He'll be good tomorrow, the next day, and forevermore. Sister Mary, thank you for testifying about how good he was. You were blessed from on high because of your faithfulness. Don't worry about everything else, because he'll make it all right. If you know how good he is, stand to your feet this morning and give God some praise. I tell you, he deserves it, because he's been good. He's been good. He's been so good. He's been better to me than I've been to myself. And if he never does anything else, he's already done enough. Because I tell you, he's a good God. He's good. He's good. I tell you, I get happy when I think about all that he's done for me. I should have been dead, sleeping in my grave. Yeah, I should have been like Job and lost everything I had. But it was nobody but the Lord. Woo! It was nobody but the Lord. I ain't done yet, because he's been good. I tell you one thing, when the Israelites left Egypt, they got out there and forgot the man who brought you out. When he brings you out, don't turn back. Don't look back from where you come from and want to go marching back in. We left 2015. In 2015, 2015, I tell you that we marching on to bigger and better things. Our churches can't grow unless we keep on moving. Stop standing still in 1975, but keep on moving. Move with time. I tell you something, Deacon. I left a lot of folks in 2015. They won't see me in 16 because it was nobody but the Lord who told me you got to get rid of them folks who bring you down. Get rid of them folks who talk about you. Get rid of those folks who make you think negative. We got to leave them folks alone, because if they think negative, you gonna think negative. And we can't have that in 16. He's been a good God. And let me tell you something. Some people died in 15. And Lord, I miss those people. Let me tell you something. I got to move on to 16. I can't remember. I can't go back to 15. Because let me tell you something. That was 2 Sundays ago. And I'm not in 15 no more. All those trials and tribulations we went through, I refuse to bring that mess into 16. I refuse to let my mind, to let our church be corrupted by that stuff that was back then. All those people who left, let them leave. I saw it on Facebook, and I stayed on Facebook the other day. It said, if they leave, let them leave. And let me tell you something. Don't let them come back. Don't let them come back. Because let me tell you something. The Lord has better and bigger things prepared for us.
Yes, sir.
And as long as we keep our hands in God's hands, everything will be all right. We know you might be going through it. Somebody in the congregation, they might be going through it. Might be suffering. But let me tell you something. Keep your eyes upon the prize, which is the Lord. Amen. And He will bring you out. He brought the Israelites out of Egypt. But yet they wanted to go back when they were going through something. If the Lord can bring you to it, He can bring you through it. So amen, I tell you that, what do you know about Jesus? I tell you that He's the Son of God. He's the King of Kings, and He'll reign forever. And I don't have to ever worry about nobody touching me, because He's going to sit on the throne for eternity. Amen. That's my poetry. Y'all can write that down.